Well, we are live, pals, and look out because Terry Funk and Dory Funk are going crazy. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Counted Out Watch Along. My name is Tyler, and I am joined today by friend of the show, as always, Jay. Jay, how
I'm
are
good,
you?
thanks. I'm in my Ford F-150. I've left Greenville, and I'm on my way to the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas.
Well, make sure that Ford F-150 is got lots of protection on it because the heat that the Funks are getting right now is
It's
crazy.
unbelievable.
Holy.
And to think that in Puerto Rico in 87, there's no guardrails is just mind-boggling to me.
No kidding. They're like, it's crazy. Look at all the security though. Terry Funk is not afraid to get
Yeah,
heat.
no kidding.
Like, look at he's hitting the fans. This is
Well,
insane. He's grabbed this guy.
well, in fairness,
Look at this.
why
Oh,
wouldn't you?
hey. This is
I don't
crazy.
think this might be my first World Wrestling Council match ever.
Yeah, so for those of you that are just tuning in, or I guess we should announce what we're watching here. Jay, why don't you tell the people what we got
Yeah,
on
that'd be
here?
a good idea. We're watching the Funks, Dory and Terry versus the Road Warriors. From 1987, the World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico. I'm guessing this is maybe San Juan. And right now, the Road Warriors haven't even gotten the ring yet. There
Oh,
they
here
are.
they are.
Yeah, they're just tearing the place up, and the fans are throwing debris. Holy cow. It's like the finger poke of doom heat here.
I want to say that this is the AWA World Tag Titles that they're wearing right now.
87? They would have been in NWA, would they have not?
They were doing both at the time. I don't know now. I don't know the exact years, but I know that they were AWA and NWA around this time.
Yeah, I don't know either. I would lean towards Crockett, but I could be wrong.
So let's take a look at what we got going on here. Take a look at how elevated that
I was
ring
just
is.
going to say, it's almost shoulder height, the Dory.
Like, that's crazy.
I think it must be like maybe elevated from the ground, but that's not the actual height of the ring, I wouldn't think.
No, but you know why I think they're probably doing that is so none of these fans are going to be able to run and jump in the ring.
That's probably a good point. That's a really good point, actually. This is insane. This is like the kind of heat that you hear in stories, the old-timey stories from like Race and Flair and Dusty. This is insane.
I don't know if you can see, but is there? Looks like referee Bill Alfonso to me from ECW fame.
I am very invested in this right now. This is fascinating to me. I want to watch more WWC, World Wrestling Council.
Yeah, World Wrestling.
Yeah, Council. I want to watch more of this.
You know, I've not watched a lot of this either. So I know on a prior watch along that you and I did with Mick Foley and Ric Flair from Impact, I made a joke saying I was taking you out of your comfort level of wrestling. Well, I don't have a clue what's going on here, but this is awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, my comfort level with wrestling is just wrestling, so I'll watch whatever. But this is outstanding so far, and they hasn't even won one lockup yet.
Yeah, this is already one of the better things. Terry Funk, I'm a massive Terry Funk fan.
Yeah. Well, do you remember? I don't know if you ever heard the story about them saying that when they used to build these stadiums down in Puerto Rico, they used to actually break glass and put it on the top of the cement from around the bowl of the arena so people couldn't break in and try to sneak into the events.
That's insane. I know I've heard lots of stories about the fans throwing batteries and throwing cups full of piss at the wrestlers as well.
Sounds like a night at Shoeless Joe's back in the day.
No kidding. And the Road Warriors have had enough. Terry Funk's been a master right now. And by the time this is airing, I'm gonna time this out. So I'll spoiler alert here for you, Jay. But for our listeners, this is gonna be timed out. Mike's list is going to be the top 7 Terry Funk matches from 1997 to the year 2000 in honor of his birthday. So this will be airing that at that time. And what a great way to honor Terry Funk, who's just been amazing at this point.
Yeah, and he's probably what? So he's probably 45, 46 here?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe not that
Well,
old.
when he was wrestling in '97 in the WWF, he was middle aged and crazy. So I
Yeah, no
think
kidding.
he's got to be in his close to his mid 40s right now. Not that that's a big
I was
deal.
gonna say late 30s to early 40s,
Yeah.
but yeah, you might be right. And look at him just going, and Road Warrior Hawk's laying it in there
Wow.
too. Let's talk about the Road Warriors a little bit here. This is the time when they were, I would say, the most dominant and probably the best tag team in wrestling. One of them.
Yeah, and you and I are around the same age. So I remember watching wrestling when I was a kid and always thinking, just based on the reputation of the Road Warriors, that they were some of the baddest dudes on the planet. When you're 8, 10 years old, you're thinking these guys are just monsters.
Well, at this time too, they were using Black Sabbath's Iron Man as their
Yeah,
entrance song as
exactly.
well, and they would just run out and beat the hell out of you, right?
Notice the ring as well. The turnbuckles are just a huge amount of tape as opposed to the traditional
Yeah.
padded turnbuckle. It's just a continuation of the rope tape, just taped quite a bit.
I don't know if you could pick that up, but Terry Funk just took a huge fall out of the ring, by the way.
Wow.
And he's just putting on. Terry Funk is a master of getting heat. He is one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Dory Funk is crisp. Dory Funk at this point, both the Funks have been NWA World Champions at this point. I think Dory had close to a 4-year title reign.
Yeah. Well, this right here is really the two generations colliding. I mean, with the Funks. I mean, Dory Funk was one of the greatest NWA champions ever, right?
Yeah. According to me, the 5th greatest of all time, because we've done our NWA list recently.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, there was a match sometime around this time frame as well with the Road Warriors versus the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser.
Oh. Yeah, they would have been fighting in the AWA,
That's right?
Because the Road Warriors had a couple big matches. They were the tag champs in the AWA for a while. They didn't overlap. I don't think they were the champs in the NWA at the time as well, but they were close to holding both those belts. Pretty similar.
And they, for a long time, were the most decorated tag team in wrestling history.
Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think the most decorated tag team in wrestling history is now? Present day. Like, out of everybody. You go the Dudley Boys?
Well, I mean, if you're going to go by title reigns, yeah. But, I mean, as far as impact, I think it's got to be the Road Warriors, probably.
You still think
I still think they hold up as one of the greatest ever. I mean, my favorite of all time is Bulldog and Owen. So, I mean, I don't know if that really makes... They're not really a true tag team, I guess, but...
Look at Hawk no selling the chair. He's scary.
Oh,
man.
And they're wood chairs.
Oh. Yeah, those probably don't feel good.
So you can see right there, the ring is on a riser.
Terry's not afraid to eat a chair shot.
Yeah.
And this is like Terry Funk, the way he got a second wave. We always talk about guys like The Undertaker and Chris Jericho reinventing themselves. Terry Funk went from being, an NWA champion, a wrestler's wrestler, to being this crazy. What we got at the end. Oh, timing was a little off there, but still look good. And that's the first time I think I've ever seen Hawk sell a pile driver.
I think that's the first time I've ever, that must be the oldest stuck pile driver I've ever seen. I don't remember seeing moves like that much in this time frame.
No, that's the stuff. The stuff pile driver. The Brainbusters use that now. The FTR, the Revival, is using that in AEW. But you got to think though, like the fact that you're seeing Hawk sell like this, it must mean that they respect the Funks a lot, because at this point they weren't selling for anybody.
They must respect the funk out of them.
Yeah, either that or just too scared to get out of Puerto Rico, so they got to let the Funks get.
Yeah, exactly. Let them get their stuff in.
And look at Terry Funk's got the tape wrapped around, a little sneaky heel move there. Just talking shit in his ear. Bill Alfonso. Look at the stash on Fonzie.
Yeah. Looks like John Waters.
Look, Hawk did a good sell job here, too.
Yeah. Who was your favorite of the two? Who did you prefer, Hawk or Animal?
I liked Hawk. I always liked Hawk better.
I always preferred Animal.
Yeah, I got to meet Animal a couple of years ago in Niagara Falls at a Comic-Con. He let me put the shoulder pads on, which was pretty cool.
That's neat.
He didn't really want to talk.
Was that the trip where Brian Blair was trying to sell you that 8mm mask.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Bear and Brian Knobs were both hitting on my girlfriend on that trip.
As long as that's all he was trying to sell you, it sounds like he might have had some other things like a ball gag or something. I don't know. He's into
Oh,
S&M or something. It sounds like.
I love the Terry Funk trying to make a tag to the wrong corner. I always like that spot.
Yeah, it's just such great storytelling, right? I mean, if you look at, just as we alluded to earlier, if you look at the Heat before they even got in the ring, I mean, it was unbelievable.
What a great spot that was. Terry Funk throws a headbutt and drops. And yeah, the Heat before they got in the ring was crazy. Like the Funks were so over everywhere. And I'm starting to slowly watch a lot more of their work in Japan. I've got a bunch of matches lined up to watch with them against Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen, Jimmy Snuka and Bruiser Brody. Like the Funks had a legendary run in Japan.
Yeah, this is a generation past that it got passed down to some of the guys you and I grew up with, but nowadays it's very rare to see this kind of selling. I mean, nobody sells anymore these days. Everything is just spot to spot to spot.
Yeah, absolutely. What is going on? Oh, they're going up. Donnybrook here. Terry's got the chair in the ring. That was a weird version of
the Doomsday Device.
Well, yeah, Dory's not getting up there. Look at the crowds throwing things. Terry Funk's getting disqualified here, saving his brother.
How old do you think Dory is here?
Oh, geez. He's got to be... He's older than Terry, is he not?
Dory's probably younger. Probably in his 50s.
Yeah, Dory's older than Terry, I'm pretty sure. He's the older brother. Oh, God. Okay. Oh. This is just broken down into chaos.
Yeah, it's a pure sixer. Holy cow.
Terry Funk, get the hell out of Puerto Rico.
I can't get over the wooden chairs.
Yeah, those are stiff. Yeah. Look how jacked these guys are. Like, these guys just look like monsters. These guys, the Road Warriors, you could plug them into the current wrestling scene now, and they would be over it immediately.
I'd like to think so. I don't know, though. I think a lot of the guys that we grew up with, I don't know how over they'd be in today's product.
I think with the Warriors coming out, look at Terry.
Oh, jeez. It's just jousting.
And now Dory's trying to get in. Oh, wow.
This is crazy. I think we've fallen on to like a little hidden gem here, Ty. I think we're going to be watching some World Wrestling Council going forward here.
No kidding. And a prior watch along I did with Wilson, he found some mystery promotion that I'd never heard of. I'm guessing it's Mid-Atlantic, but I don't know.
Oh, there's Ellering.
And now we're on to a goal. There's Paul Ellering out there.
Ellering with hair. That's unusual.
I wish that they would still use him in NXT. I liked what he was doing.
Yeah. This is really outstanding stuff. Like, I want to watch more of this.
No kidding. This is one of my 80s, like the late 80s was wrestling was amazing in the late 80s. Every promotion was on fire.
Absolutely, it was.
That's it.
So we're
we're
all out of time on that one, but wow, my eyes have been opened.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm always a massive fan of the Funks and the Road Warriors. I've never seen that match before. Yeah. You talk about crowd heat, man. And like you said, you hit the hammer right on the head, Jade. All these old timers are always like, well, back in my day, the Heat. Yeah. Well, if you need proof that they're not lying, take a look at this match. Holy moly.
Yeah, you always hear those stories about, it took us 30 minutes to get out of the Omni, or it took us an hour to get out of the Omni because of the heat. And I mean, you see this kind of stuff and you believe it.
Yeah. And, the product is so different now. And, obviously it has to evolve. Like this type of a thing, it can't be a thing now. And especially the way that the world's evolved since then as well. But it's very pure back here. This is when wrestling felt like wrestling. And that's why I'm a big fan of the Crockett era of the NWA and the Four Horsemen.
This is also
Go ahead. No.
This is also when, even though we were kids, but looking back on it as an adult now, this is when wrestling felt real.
Yeah.
Like they're telling a story. I can see the disconnect nowadays with stuff because there's so many high spots and high flying and things of that nature, the acrobatics. They don't tell the story nearly as well as what we just saw in 15 minutes?
No, absolutely. I agree with you there. Just off the entrance alone, I was captivated.
Yeah.
And these guys weren't afraid to get heat, and they weren't afraid to be a heel. And nowadays, everyone wants to be the cool heel, and that's the trend that's been going back since the NWO days. Sorry. But now it's very rare that you see a guy that wants to just go out there and get booed.
The other trouble with that, though, is that if you look at heels today, if somebody tries to be a real, legitimate fundamental heel, wrestling fans on Twitter or wherever else will say they want that. But then as soon as they say something that's really super heelish, they get called out on social media for, being a bad person or saying something inappropriate. So you can't win.
Yeah, don't get me started on wrestling fans on Twitter. That's don't get me started. I get fired up. I'm disappointed in the way that the wrestling fan is in general these days, but that's a whole other story.
As am I. You think once most of them started getting teeth, they'd be happy, but yeah,
no kidding. So Jay, final thoughts. What did
loved
you think?
loved it, and we're going to be doing this, I think, going forward as a bit of a series. We're going to be occasionally from here and there going to be watching these watch-alongs. So I want to do more World Wrestling Council for sure.
Well, we'll definitely look into that. Like I said, and I'll speak on behalf of Mike. You're always open invitation to join us on the show and on the watch along. And for anybody listening to this that wants to do a watch along with either myself or Mike, feel free to hit us up on any of the social medias at Countout7s across the board. We love watching wrestling. We love talking about it. We love hearing from you guys. So keep up the support. Thank you very much. Jay, you got anything you want to say before you wrap
for
up?
anybody listening to this, I guess you've already watched this. I highly recommend you watch it. Best match I've seen in probably 6 months. Loved it.
Yeah, I won't argue that. So on behalf of Jay, as Mike would say, and on behalf of myself, Tyler, we have been counted out.